something strange in your neighborhood, who you gonna call?
Mythbusters!
If it's something weird and it don't
Keep it
look
going.
good,
Undo the whole
who
song.
you gonna call?
Mythbusters! Oh,
Who can you call?
memories.
I'm happy. Very happy to introduce our first segment of Bintbusters. Peter Bint in charge of this one. A new segment on the show. Things you thought you knew, but you probably did not.
Yeah, or things when I ask you that might seem straightforward, but will stump you completely when I reveal the answer. So not strictly a quiz, but you'll learn something new, something to maybe pull out at a dinner party or two.
I think the best way to explain it is through examples. So let's get started.
Okay, so I will put a question out there. You'll give me your answers, and then I'll explain what the true answer is.
Okay.
Listeners, get on board as well. Okay, so my first question to you guys, everyone out there as well. When you get a kidney transplant, what do you think they do with the kidney
What?
that they're replacing? Right?
Okay.
So you got a bad kidney, you need a kidney transplant.
And so I do get a new kidney from a donor. So
Yeah,
what
so
do they
you-
do with the old bad
with your
one?
original kidney. Yeah. What do you think they do with it? Probably not something many people have thought about too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest with you, usually when there's a kidney transplant story in the news, the focus is more about the person who donated it
Yep.
and how appreciative the person who received it is,
Yeah.
rather than on the, hey, guess what they do with the old one?
Yeah, and you focus on, receiving that new one. You don't even think for a second, oh, yeah, what do they do? What do they have to do?
I mean, I'm sure patients probably ask, like, hey, doc,
yeah, sure.
by the
right?
way, what happens with that one now?
Can I put it in a pie?
This is a great question. I've never thought about this before. I mean, I'm assuming that it's useless because the reason you get a kidney transplant is because of kidney failure.
Yes.
So therefore, it doesn't function as a kidney anymore.
You wouldn't donate it to someone else?
No,
suppose.
I wouldn't think so. Anyway,
Yeah. So you know how when you look at, I don't know if you guys paid attention when you were in a hospital,
Yep.
but usually for some of the trash that might have some kind of, I don't know, bodily fluids or something on it,
Yeah.
it would go into not a normal trash can,
Sure.
but it would go into like a biohazard marked off like waste bin.
The kidney trash bin is
So
what
it-
you're saying.
the KTB.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's the official title for it.
I know what you're talking about. There's the only bins found in hospitals. Yeah.
Yeah, and it has that mark that you find on like biohazardous material.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it would go in there because it's useless. And my guess is, would it not be incinerated? Like it'll be
Okay.
completely burned?
But it's not necessarily diseased though.
No.
True,
So
yeah.
I'm guessing something more practical, like fertilizer,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or I
like
guess
farm fertilizer, or I don't know, something along those lines,
It
where
might be.
it gets put back into the earth.
it might be nutrient rich and whatnot.
It could very well be. Even though it's not functioning in its true form anymore, it doesn't mean that it's lost its purpose altogether. All right, let's leave. In the first edition of Bintbusters today, Pete got us started with a banger, as they say. What happens to the old kidney when a patient gets a kidney transplant? 2540 texted in and said they use it for anatomy study. I hope it can be used to improve the medical technology.
Wow.
That's a good guess. Off to a medical school somewhere where medical students can kind of poke around at it and learn from
Makes
it.
sense
right?
for sure. Right.
Kate, any guess?
Well, I just said I thought they would just burn it.
All right.
Not very creative at all.
They don't. They,
Yeah, because I think that if it's not useful, it would be nice if it was used in something useful. But I just don't want any contamination that can possibly come from it because you never know.
They wouldn't give it to you, would they? When I got my wisdom tooth removed,
Yeah.
the dentist gave it to me.
In a little bag, like a little thing sometimes.
Yeah, and I said thanks. And I don't think they would do that with your kidney, but maybe.
In a little Ziploc bag. Might be nice to put in the freezer or something. Yeah.
Silly Serious says the diseased kidney might go to a biological or hepatic department for research or to medical students for practice. I'm assuming there's a couple of people who answered like that. I'm assuming maybe that's the answer.
It's very sensible, isn't it? But on Bimp Busters, we're only going to have bangers and your mind is going to be blown. So, Kate, you get a free pass this time, but you got to come up with something creative. Fertilizer was great,
Okay.
Steve.
Okay.
It's interesting. It's totally wrong. And what happens with the old kidney? Nothing. Nothing happens because they leave it in your body where it is. They leave your kidneys intact and they add the third kidney into your pelvic region. The new one gets a new position.
Okay.
And the reason behind it is twofold. Number one, taking out a kidney is complicated. So they don't want to mess with the circuitry already there, right? You can get complications from removing it.
Okay.
So they just leave it intact. Number two, it still has some function in most cases, maybe much reduced, like 30% or less.
Yeah.
But they figure, even if both your kidneys are damaged, that 2 less functioning kidneys plus a new functioning one is better than taking out the less function ones.
Oh, because a damaged kidney doesn't necessarily stop functioning altogether. It just doesn't do as good a job.
Yeah, and taking that out and then reconnecting it there is more complicated and there's more potential for hiccups along the surgical route. So you will have it in your your right pelvic area. They just squeeze it in there. And there are some people who need extra transplants and they just keep adding them.
Wow.
So you can have up to like 4 or 5 kidneys
That's
inside your space.
A lot, because I didn't think that there would be that much space considering how much intestine we have.
Well, it is interesting. The inside of the human body is kind of very flexible. If you think about women and pregnancy, right?
Oh, that's true.
Your organs still all stay intact and functioning. And my Uncle Bob, who's got his hernia at the moment, I was looking into that. And that's like when usually an organ like pops out of the lining.
Yeah.
You can actually just squeeze a lot in here, right? Within your body cavity. And so that blew my mind when I saw that fact.
Bint Busters.
Yes.
Strong one to
You
get
were
us going.
been busted.
All right,
Yes.
Kate, we learned our lesson.